Another day, another delay. Coming up on this hour, Chris 6 Sunrise, why the Old Harbor Bridge will continue to stay standing for now and when it could come down.
And good news for artists and neighbors who like our electrical box mural art downtown. We have the latest on what TxDOT is allowing. Plus,
I'm Stephanie Molina in Corpus Christi, breaking down the new congressional map. I take a look at how this could affect your community and what state leaders are saying.
hey, good morning, folks. Welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise. Thank you so much for waking up with the Hoffmans. I'm Michelle Hoffman.
And I'm Brian Hoffman. We are back, folks. It was a cool little time off. It was our 7-year anniversary. Went up to Austin, chilled over there for a while. Great weather. And then we come back to this cold front. Steven, you got to do some explaining, man.
I know. I'm sorry. First of all, I got to say, now that you said it, happy anniversary to you.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, of course. But come on, you're not enjoying the 60s out and about this morning.
I am. She is not. She's so like 0.2% body fat.
Oh, my God.
But it's just the time of year you can start bringing out the coats a little bit that have been in
maybe
the closet
boots
all
too.
year.
Ooh, I have a trench coat collection.
Start to get it all out. Feel like the season a little bit, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it for now, but if it gets any colder, I might be in your boat too there, Michelle. Taking a look at the traffic outside, though, not too bad this morning as we're kicking off our Wednesday and feeling like the season out and about there at 63 degrees. Now let's take an in-depth look here at the Harbor Bridge to and from Portland this morning. Going to be good and green out the door if you're heading that way. Now closer into Corpus Christi, looking at Ocean Drive, no major slowdowns there. Just a minor one here near Ocean Drive and Ennis Jocelyn, I should say. Rodfield and SPID, the same story, but really nothing to worry about there. SPID, Saratoga, and Crosstown Expressway, all three coming in good and green this morning. As we work our way a little bit closer to the island over towards Flower Bluff, now Waldron Road, just a minor slowdown to keep in mind if you're heading that way. Although Flower Bluff Drive looking good and green as you're heading out the door. The minor slowdown that we normally see there as well at the gates there near the Naval Air Station as well, showing up this morning like we normally see. Some of those drive times for you sitting at 21 minutes right now. If you're heading from downtown to the island, Portland to downtown should be about 8 minutes. And if you're heading from Cal Allen to downtown, you could expect that 15-minute mark. So wherever you're coming from and wherever you're going to, good and green to head out the door and kick off your Wednesday morning.
Steven, appreciate you, sir. All right, folks, we're going to get your neighbor news in just a little bit. But first, President Trump continues his visit to Asia today with another full day planned. Trump heads to South Korea, which is hosting the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. The president is meeting with the South Korean president, where the two will discuss trade. Trump has already made several major business deals, including an agreement with Japan on mining and refining rare earth minerals. All eyes, though, are on the president's scheduled meeting with China's leader Xi Jinping Thursday to see whether a major trade deal can be reached. Well, Hurricane Melissa is continuing its destructive path through the Caribbean after making landfall in Jamaica. The record-breaking storm is forecasted to continue its destruction through the Caribbean today, and the storm caused severe flooding and wind damage in Jamaica Tuesday when that hit the southwestern, part of the island as a Category 5 hurricane. And the storm sustained winds of 185 miles per hour, making it the strongest Atlantic hurricane to hit Jamaica since record-keeping began 174 years ago. Multiple deaths have already been reported, and governments are already focusing on recovery efforts.
Back here at home, the demolition of the Old Harbor Bridge has been postponed a second time. TxDOT originally planned to demolish the bridge on Monday before it says it was forced to postpone. Demo was postponed yesterday, too, after TxDOT said crews need a full 10 hours of daylight to safely lower the center span of the bridge. TxDOT announced the center span will be lowered tomorrow, citing, quote, high winds associated with an approaching cold front, end quote. And folks, the electrical box mural downtown are here to stay. Local officials met with TxDOT on Tuesday and confirmed that electrical box murals are not included in a mandate. The Safe Roads Initiative is a statewide mandate from Governor Abbott that orders Texas cities to eliminate non-standard markings on roadways. Crosswalks and other areas are still on the chopping block, though, but art on electrical boxes will be preserved.
Dr. Paul Gottemuller is a professor of political science at Del Mar College. He tells me lawmakers often have various reasons when it comes to redistricting. He says Texas engaged in partisan gerrymandering to gain an advantage and minimize the number of Democratic districts. In the newly redrawn congressional map, part of Nueces County moved into the 34th district, currently represented by Democratic Congressman Vicente Gonzalez. He reminds me he was also redistricted in 2021. Governor Greg Abbott signed the bill in August, redrawing the congressional map. Groups like LULAC are challenging the law in federal court. State leaders so far have denied looking at race when redrawing the map.
The newly redrawn maps is not expected to come into play until the 2026 midterms. In Corpus Christi, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Stephanie Molina, Chris 6 News.
Well, the Timbergate Drive project on the city's south side is continuing, and drivers can expect more lane closure starting up today. Timbergate Drive between South Staples and Snow Goose Road will be a one-way road going eastbound. Crews are working on the reconstruction of the road while also upgrading curbs, gutters, and sidewalks. The $4.73 million project is being funded by Bond 2022. It's expected to be completed by July of next year.
Well, 6:06 a.m. on our Wednesday morning, taking a live look over there at Snoopy's Pier. Thanks to Matthew CCAC sitting at 64 degrees. Those winds howling out of the north at 22 miles an hour. A couple cars there on the causeway, just a little bit of chop on the water thanks to that wind as well. And taking a look at our Tuesday, it was another record-breaking day at 97 degrees for that daytime high, above the previous record 92 set back in 1921. The morning lows, that was 41 degrees, I should say. Back in 2008, we came in about 68 degrees, still above average, but we're definitely on the cool down in the wake of that cold front now, thankfully. And when we're looking at the past 10 hours, you can see when that cold front hit about 8 to 9 p.m. last night, when those winds shifted out of the north, and then a steady cool down to this morning, about 21 degrees short of where we were last night, down to 62 this morning so far. And hopefully we shave a couple more degrees off as we go through the next hour or so. Currently looking at those temperatures in your neighborhood, a couple of 50s out there. In Freer right now, 56 degrees going to be that cool spot. Along the coast, 64 degrees there in Port Aransas, as well as at the Naval Air Station, 60 in Robstown, and then Beeville rounding us out around 57 degrees this morning. So all of us definitely feeling the chill out there, and compared to yesterday, about 10 to even 17 degrees cooler than where we were about 24 hours ago. So definitely enjoying the more fall-like weather. And looking at that dog walking forecast today, we've got Achilles here just ready to go on his walk, and I think he's ready to get in the spooky season spirit as well with some of these more fall-like temperatures, rounding out in the 60s through 10 a.m., 66 degrees, 68 there by 11 a.m., 70 as we head into that lunchtime hour, but going to be windy at that, especially as we head into the afternoon with winds out of the north and north-northwest about 20 to 25 miles an hour. Gusts could get upwards of 30 to 35 miles an hour at times as well. The current Doppler radar showing you nice and clear skies across the coastal bend, and really that's what we're expecting throughout the rest of our Wednesday as well as when we're going into our Thursday. Plenty of sunshine and nice temperatures as well in the wake of that cold front, but also going to be dry air, so elevated to critical fire danger. Want to be mindful of that. Try to secure those tow chains, I should say, to not create sparks on the roadways as well. Those wind gust forecasts going to show you, yes, 30 to 35 miles an hour as we go into the afternoon hours. So hopefully you tie down the outdoor loose decor, and then as we look into the muggy meter, I should say, that dry air here to stay until the weekend. As we go into Saturday, we see a slight resurgence, but then right after that into Sunday and Monday, we get another shot of that dry air back into place. So rain chances not looking amazing throughout the next 7 days, but as we look at that 7-day forecast, definitely going to be enjoying the nicer temperatures in the 70s for most of it, a couple of 80s as we head into this weekend, with that small chance for a couple of showers by Saturday. Overnight lows going to hold their own in the 50s, and then as we go into November, holding on to daytime highs in the 70s.
Feeding bellies and minds. I'm Melissa Trevino, and I'll show you how an event here in Duval County is giving veterans purpose.
I'm Joe St. George in Washington. In the coming hours, President Trump and President Xi Jinping of China are expected to meet. Why are soybean farmers in the U.S. so desperate for a trade deal now? We'll explain that next.
Welcome back, folks. So, surprise, surprise, I know, but the U.S. Senate again failed to pass a government funding bill, this time for the 13th time. That happened on Tuesday. Now, Tuesday's vote came on the 28th day of the government shutdown and fell mostly along party lines, failing to reach the 60-vote threshold. 3 Democrats actually voted yes, while 2 Republicans voted no. And for the government shutdown, it will remain in place.
In the coming hours, President Trump is expected to meet with President Xi Jinping of China. A trade deal on certain issues may be possible, and one group of Americans are paying close attention to this meeting. They're the soybean farmers. Scripps News Group Joe St. George has more on why China's boycott of American soybeans this year has been so devastating in rural America.
For over 10 months, the trade tensions between the U.S. and China have been felt across the global economy. The technology industry has been impacted by China's threat to restrict rare earth elements needed to make things like smartphones. Big box stores have been impacted by the price of Chinese-made products and tariffs. But you don't need to be a major CEO in a big city to feel the impacts. Farmers have as well and are desperate for a trade deal this week. The expectations are high for the first meeting between President Donald Trump and President Xi Jinping of China since 2019. These are just some of the issues that the two leaders are expected to discuss, ranging from tariffs to fentanyl to TikTok.
I'm in the seat of the combine right now. Cutting soybeans. I'll turn it around so that you can see.
For farmers like Chris Cherry and David Harden, they are anxiously awaiting this meeting in the hopes it brings about a deal involving soybeans. According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, in 2024, half of all soybeans exported from the United States went to China. This year, China has boycotted American soybeans because of the ongoing trade war. There are soybean crops that are just not being bought. They're sitting in storage.
That's correct. Just about all of them have gone into bins, gone into storage, waiting and hoping for, a resolution.
These farmers from Indiana telling the Scripps News Group that the economic impacts have been significant.
We need to have a deal done for us to be back to be where we're profitable.
Midwest soybean producers are going to be looking at somewhere around $100 per acre loss this year.
There is a reason for farmers to be optimistic. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent met with his Chinese counterparts over the weekend and announced a framework has been agreed to that could lead to a possible trade deal. The secretary has implied it would include soybean relief. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins spoke with the Scripps News Group Tuesday.
Good news for our soybean farmers, and we're grateful, hopefully, when that deal gets inked, to be able to move some of those soybeans, those great American soybeans, out across the world.
Joe St. George, Scripps News Group, Washington.
Well, taking a live look out at our USS Lexington cam, brought to us by First Community Bank, sitting at 6:16 a.m. 62 degrees is what we're down to. Winds out of the north-northwest about 12 miles an hour, and both harbor bridges in view. Traffic flowing nice and smooth there along the new one. Looks like the aquarium not lit up as of right now. And as we look at those temperatures in your neighborhood, a couple 50s out there. 58 degrees in Cotulla, Freer, as well as Mathis this morning. Going to be some of those cooler spots, with Beeville going to be the cool spot at 56 degrees. 62 here in Corpus Christi, 64 for Port Aransas, as well as over there at the Naval Air Station this morning. And all of us cooling down, but going to be on the warm up as we go into today. Luckily, only the 70s expected, though. Those current dew points for you, much drier air has worked in the wake of that cold front that moved in last night. 30s for some of our inland communities. A couple 40s still on the board. 44 there in Ingleside, 40 over in Port Aransas this morning, with the rest of us rounding out in the 30s. So plenty of dry air has moved in. And as we plan out our Wednesday, you can see how we're going to start to warm up a little bit, coming from these lower 60s this morning up into the upper 60s by that lunchtime hour. The 70s going to round us out for that daytime high, but going to be a windy afternoon with winds out of the north-northwest. 20 to 25 miles an hour sustained, but wind gusts are going to gust even higher, upwards of 30 to 35 miles an hour between about 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's where we're going to see the peak of some of those wind gusts. Then they start to come down a little bit, luckily, as we go into the overnight hours. Going to be back into that 15 to 20 mile an hour range, more close to what we're used to at the northeast. And that's going to lead to a red flag warning for today. That's what the National Weather Service has issued in response to the dry air and all those strong winds. We're seeing this red flag warning in place for all of the coastal bend because of those wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. Relative humidity very dry out there right now, and very dry vegetation as well. We still have this moderate drought that we've been seeing around Corpus Christi, so all the soil's very dry. Anything that does ignite can spark and then spread pretty quickly as well with those high winds. So that's why we have that red flag warning in place from about 9 a.m. this morning to 7 p.m. this evening, I should say. The Muggy meter going to show you how we have this dry air in place through the rest of the week. Saturday sees a small resurgence in some of that moisture, but then dry air right back down into the 50s or even lower as we go into November going into next week, luckily. Looking at those rain chances for you, only day we have on the board right now going to be Saturday with the resurgence of some of that moisture working into the area. Going to see some isolated to scattered activity make its way back in, but overall rain total still going to be too minimal to make up for the 11 inches we need to make up for 2025. The 7-day forecast going to show you though quite fall-like, if I do say so myself. Only seeing the 80s by about Saturday, but then we're back into the 70s as we go into the rest of November, starting it off at least, and then overnight lows from the 40s and then hold their own into the 50s.
How did this one photo bring a community together? I'm Adam Beam with their efforts to reunite a loved one with a piece of history.
Welcome back, folks. It is Wednesday, which means we got to check in on those grocery prices for you. I have a couple of those staples for you as of the retailer's website as of this morning, so your buck can go just a bit further. Let's start off with the price of eggs. Big upset here. Some up, some down by quite a bit, too. As you can notice, Target is in third place, still $2.39. Bit of an increase there. Decrease with both H-E-B and Walmart, though. Walmart taking the win at $1.97. Under $2 for a dozen? Oh yeah, love to see that. On to a price of a loaf of bread. No changes here. As you can see, Target's in third place, second place Walmart, first place H-E-B at $1.20. Next up with another upset here. Good prices though. We got Walmart coming in third place at $2.87. A little tiny bit of an increase there, but decrease on both Target and H-E-B. They're the winner on that one at $2.72. And wrapping things on up with the protein, pound of ground beef will cost you $6.49 at Target, $4.79 at H-E-B, and $4.44 over at Walmart. As always, if you can find cheaper prices than these guys, throw them in your cart while you can, and I'll have all of these posted on our website, christv.com.
Well, taking a live look out at our USS Lexington cam, thanks to First Community Bank, looking at 6:23 a.m. and not too many cars there on the Harbor Bridge right now, but a few more starting to pick up on the roadways as we head closer to the 6:30 and then 7 a.m. hour, but luckily no major slowdowns as of right now so far that I've been seeing out there. Taking a more in-depth look at some of our roadways now, the Harbor Bridge looking good and green to and from Portland this morning as you're heading out the door. Looking into Corpus Christi, Ocean Drive, no major slowdowns as of right now. Same for Ennis-Jocelyn there. SPID, Saratoga, Crosstown Expressway, all three coming in good and green this morning as you're getting ready to head out the door. Now a little bit closer to the island over by Flower Bluff Drive, no major slowdowns as of right now. A minor slowdown there on Waldron Road to keep in mind, as well as the normal one you see heading to the Naval Air Station gates. Some of those drive times for you this morning sitting at 21 minutes from downtown to the island, 8 minutes from Portland to downtown, Cal Allen to downtown sitting at 14 minutes. So wherever you're coming from and going to, good and green to head out the door and then kick off your Wednesday morning.
Africanized bees, also known as the killer bee, are becoming more common in the coastal bend. I'm Victoria Valderrama with a warning from experts.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Well, 6:26 a.m. and taking a live look over there at Snoopy's Pier thanks to Matthew CCAC, sitting at 62 degrees with winds out of the north 20 to 25 miles an hour along the coast right now. A couple cars on the causeway, but not too bad. Water's just got a little bit of the chop out there with all the high winds right now, but not too bad, sitting at that 62 degrees in the wake of that cold front after a record-breaking Tuesday at that 97 degrees for the daytime high. That previous record, 92. That was back from 1921, so Now that record's going to be for 2025. The morning lows, though, not even close. That was 41. Back from 2008, we came in at 68 degrees. We're going to be cooler these next couple of days, but I don't think we're going to be still coming close to those records quite yet. And plenty of rainfall needed to make up for 2025, unfortunately, over that 11-inch mark in terms of a rainfall deficit. In terms of the past 10 hours, you can see where that cold front hit about 8 to 9 p.m. last night. Then we started that steady cool down, but also those winds gusting out of the north 20 to 30 miles an hour at times. Now we're down to about 62 degrees, good 21 degrees over the past 10 hours, and going to maybe continue to shave off another degree or two here over the next 30 minutes to an hour. In your neighborhood right now, a couple 50s on the board. 57 the cool spot in Beeville, 59 over there in Alice, 64 at the Naval Air Station, going to be that warm spot with all of us enjoying the winds out of the north, and good visibility right now as well, with plenty of dry air moving in the wake of this cold front. For today's dog walking forecast, we've got Achilles here ready to go on his walk, of course, and enjoy some more of these seasonable temperatures, feeling much more like fall this morning in the 60s, 63 by 9 a.m., 68 by 11 a.m. By noon, we're heading into the 70s, but those winds also a little breezy, like I said, out of the north all day. Going to be breezy 10 to 15, or actually I should say 15 to 20 miles an hour. Gusts 25 to 30 miles an hour. Going to be pretty breezy this afternoon. For forecast highs in your neighborhood, sitting around that 70-degree mark into the coast areas, and here in Corpus Christi, 75 degrees. As you work your way inland, still dealing with more of those low to mid 70s, so going to shape up for a pretty nice Wednesday and below average temperatures, but unfortunately just some elevated fire danger with the drier air as well as the windy conditions in place. In terms of the forecast high temperatures over the next 10 days, going to see a slight resurgence in some of those temperatures by Saturday, then a nice another shot of cold air by the time we're heading into early next week, and then right back up to above average as we head in towards the 6th, 7th, and 8th of November, but still not going to be too bad. We'll take the 80s while we can get them and get out of the 90s and that summer-like pattern. Hopefully we just don't see too much humidity working its way back in, but I know we're still going to see some humidity working back in. For the future track, we're going to show you how we see clear skies for the rest of our Wednesday. That's going to continue even into our Thursday as well as our Friday. Going to be pretty nice for us across the coastal bend with plenty of sunshine and much more dry conditions, I should say, as well. The only real rain chance we have right now on the board is going to be as we head into Saturday with a slight resurgence of some of that moisture. In terms of Hurricane Melissa right now moving in through Cuba, and it is right now a Category 3 hurricane with winds at 115 miles an hour. Going to continue its way into the Atlantic, slowly decreasing in strength from a Category 2 to Category 1 as it heads up towards Bermuda, but still a very destructive storm, and hoping for the best news that we can to hear over the next 24 hours with this storm. For the next 7 days here in the coastal bend, going to be sitting in those 70s, the 80s again by this weekend, about Saturday timeframe, with that slight shot of rain on the board. Then back to the 70s for early next week. Overnight lows the 40s these next couple of days before they stay in the 50s heading into November.
Stephen, thank you so much. So the Grammy-winning rock band Stone Temple Pilots with special guest the Toadies are coming to the Concrete Street Amphitheater on Thursday, November 6th. And hey, Chris 6 News is giving you the chance to win a pair of tickets. To enter to win, go to christv.com/contest and fill out the form with your information. Good luck.
This is Veterans in Focus, sponsored by the Heil Law Firm. Battling for justice, winning for the community.
Honoring our heroes. I'm Michaela Chavez, and for this week's Veterans in Focus, I'm showing you how dozens rolled up their sleeves, bringing teamwork and tribute together to help build something special.
It's great to have such a great turnout. It just shows the patriotism here in the Coastal Bend.
Kids, high schoolers, and volunteers of all ages came together at the Richard Borchard Fairgrounds for the Rebar Work Party, getting ready for this year's Coastal Bend Flags of Valor, formerly known as Field of Honor. Flower Bluff senior Connor Wynn knows exactly why events like this matter. His dad's a retired Navy vet, and he's been giving back for years now.
I've been coming out to events like this since I started middle school.
And that spirit of service runs deep. 22 of his classmates also showed up to volunteer.
Whenever we put out a community service event, whenever we put out something that we can help out our community, people are always running the gun, signing up before we even have a sign-out sheet out yet.
As a veteran, I'm humbled to bring my students out to do this for our older veterans, to give back to them.
Each flag placed will represent a veteran or an active duty service member.
When we put up the flags, we feel that it's flying in the honor, like I do for my husband and my brother-in-law and my brothers and everybody that served. And I feel that that flag is flying for them.
For friends Maria and Betty, it's personal. They've both lost their husbands, and each year they still find ways to give back.
We see them, mourning their loved one. And so we embrace that. We appreciate the fact that they're here celebrating with us.
3, 2, 1. I don't think I could have put those rebars into the ground.
And she's not kidding. It's no easy task. I managed to get one in, and that was enough to appreciate the hard work that goes into every single flag. If you want to sponsor a flag, you still have time. It's $50, and all of the proceeds will go towards ROTC programs and nonprofit veteran organizations right here in the Coastal Bend. The Flags of Valor ceremony will be held on November 6th at 4 p.m.
Well, good Wednesday morning there, Coastal Bend, taking a live look out at our USS Lexington cam, brought to us by First Community Bank. 62 degrees, nice and cool out there with that north-northwesterly breeze about 12 miles an hour right now, and you can see both harbor bridges in view, but the old harbor bridge sure to come down as we go through the week ahead. Well, we'll see probably through the week ahead at least. Of course, those temperature changes over the past 24 hours, down about 10 to even to upwards of 20 degrees. Upwards Beeville 17 degrees shy of where we were yesterday. Same for Port Aransas out there. Here in Corpus Christi, about 9 degrees less than we were yesterday. So all of us enjoying a nice cool down in the wake of that cold front. Daytime highs here in Corpus Christi expected to reach about 75 degrees with sunny skies plenty in this afternoon as we go into it, but going to be windy at that as well. Unfortunately, in terms of rain working its way in over the next 24 hours, you could see nothing on the board. Going to be at the very bottom, unlikely for us into Corpus Christi, Alice, as well as Beeville over the next 24 hours for today, as well as into tomorrow, really even into Friday. Unfortunately, we're going to see increased fire danger as a result of the dry air and the increased winds. So we have that red flag warning in effect today from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. I'll go over the rain chances that are coming up and that 7-day forecast coming up in just a bit.
Now, 20 minutes of non-stop news, sponsored by Ewald Kubota.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our 20 minutes of nonstop news with the Hoffmans. I'm Brian Hoffman.
Double snap.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'm Michelle
feeling
Hoffman.
that good.
So, of course, folks, we have plenty of neighborhood news for you this morning. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Stephen Jones with a look at our morning commute. Good morning, Stephen.
Morning, buddy.
Well, good morning, Brian and Michelle, and welcome back. Of course, nice to have you guys back.
Thanks.
Not too bad this morning. Enjoying the chillier weather, you know. It's a nice change of pace, and the roadways haven't been looking too bad as we were heading out the door. We're looking at our SPID cam. You can see a couple more cars starting to hit the roadways now as we're heading closer to 7 a.m., but enjoying that nice 62 degrees at that as well. But as we're looking out there, no major slowdowns so far, it looks like, at least on our Skycam. Now taking a more in-depth look here at the Harbor Bridge. Yes, no slowdowns indeed, I should say, as you're heading to or from Portland this morning. Now into Corpus Christi, Ocean Drive, no major slowdowns either, as well as SPID, Saratoga, and Crosstown Expressway, all three coming in good and green. Only the very minor slowdown here near Rodfield and SPID, but really nothing to worry about. As we work over to Flower Bluff, minor slowdown there on Waldron Road to worry about. Flower Bluff Drive, not too bad though, good and green as you head out the door. SPID and the Causeway though looking good as you head that way. Just that normal minor slowdown you see there at the gates for the Naval Air Station Corpus Christi. Some of those drive times for you sitting at 22 minutes from downtown to the island, 8 minutes from Portland to downtown, Cal Allen to downtown, going to be about 14 minutes. So wherever you're coming from and going to, good and green to head out the door and start off your Wednesday morning.
Hey, Stephen, appreciate you. So we're going to check back in with you in just a little bit, but don't go anywhere, folks. We have plenty of neighborhood news to get to this morning.
Yes, from Africanized bees becoming more common in the Coastal Bend to a Westside Sports Complex getting a renovation. We have you covered in your neighborhood check-in.
Dr. Paul Gottemuller is a professor of political science at Del Mar College. He tells me lawmakers often have various reasons when it comes to redistricting. He says Texas engaged in partisan gerrymandering to gain an advantage and minimize the number of Democratic districts. In the newly redrawn congressional map, part of Nueces County moved into the 34th district, currently represented by Democratic Congressman Vicente Gonzalez. He reminds me he was also redistricted in 2021. Governor Greg Abbott signed the bill in August, redrawing the congressional map. Groups like LULAC are challenging the law in federal court. State leaders so far have denied looking at race when redrawing the map.
The newly redrawn maps is not expected to come into play until the 2026 midterms. In Corpus Christi, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Stephanie Molina, Chris 6 News.
This neighborhood in the city of Mathis is being terrorized by bees. Al Pacheco discovered they're Africanized bees. According to Texas A&M AgriLife research, Africanized bees have been in South Texas since the fall of 1990, spreading to 163 of the 254 counties in Texas. Research shows the Africanized bee is only slightly different from the honeybee. Rick Sanchez is a bee removal expert here in the Coastal Bend, and right now, he's busy.
This is going to be number 36 of the Africanized killer bees here in South Texas. That's a lot of increase, a lot of population explosion.
How did this one photo bring a community together?
Hello, Beeville neighbors. I'm seeking your assistance is how George Vara began this post to Facebook after Reynaldo Maldonado found this framed photo. On it, the USS Chaplain CV-39, and it's dedicated to one Harold Martin. They not only learned more about Harold Martin, but found his family as well. I had the privilege of speaking to Mary, Harold's widow, who was reunited with a piece of her husband's history she didn't even know existed.
How in the world did that picture get in Pettis, Texas?
And now that a part of him is home, it brings back all the memories of her husband's life of service and of love.
He was a very friendly, outgoing person. If he met you, you would have thought he had known you all of your life.
I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Duval County. The Venison for Veterans event has been touching veterans' lives for 30 years. I spoke with some of them who share what this means to them. We want to let you know there is animal harvesting in this story and to watch at your own discretion. Hundreds of veterans from across Texas gathered at Shady Rest Ranch in Freer for fellowship and deer meat. Field of Dreams Christian Ministries puts on the event each year. The ministry's founders tell me they started this to honor veterans and their family. Navy and Army veteran Anthony Durogo says the weekend, which also includes church and prayer, is more than a getaway. He learned of it from a soldier 10 years ago and hasn't missed one since.
The Greenwood Sports Complex on the west side holds a lot of memories for families like Marie Agued Haller, who says baseball runs through the generations. The complex is part of the 2022 bond project, which includes a $4.7 million improvement plan. Upgrades include new restrooms, concession stands, dugouts, bleachers, and field improvements. I reached out to the city for an update on when construction will begin, but was told a representative is not available for comment until Wednesday.
Well, 6:46 a.m. Good Wednesday morning there, Coastal Bend, taking a live look at our USS Lexington cam. Thanks to First Community Bank, sitting at 62 degrees. Those winds out of the north-northwest, 12 miles an hour right now. The harbor bridge is in view with just a couple more cars starting to pick up on the roadways as well. The current temperatures from yesterday, what they rounded out to 97 degrees. It was a record-breaking Tuesday. The previous record was 92 back from 1921. The morning low record, 41 back from 2008. We came in at 68 degrees. Just a little bit warm of that record, and still going to be a little warm as we go through the next couple of days compared to the records, but plenty of rain needed to make up for the 2025 deficit so far. And you can see where that cold front hit last night, about 8 to 9 p.m., getting those winds out of the north-northeast and gusting up into the 30s throughout the overnight hours. A steady cool down, though, to about 21 degrees now to 6 a.m., down to 62 degrees is what we're at right now here into Corpus Christi. A couple of 50s out there as well in your neighborhood. 57 in Mathis, 55 going to be that cool spot right now in Beeville. As you work your way along the coast, seeing some more of those 60s, 63 in Port Aransas, 64 at the Naval Air Station, 61 over there in Kingsville and Alice, rounding us out at about 60 degrees. For your dog walking forecast this morning, we have Achilles here today, ready to go on his walk and enjoy some of these more fall-like temperatures with a good northerly breeze as well this morning, rounding out in the 60s, 63 degrees by 9 a.m., 66 for 10 a.m. As we head out to lunch, looking at about 70 degrees with those gusty winds out of the north, 20 to 30 miles an hour heading into the afternoon at least. east. Looking at today's planner, you could expect exactly that going into that lunchtime hour. Seeing those 70s make their return, daytime highs getting to about 75 degrees is my forecast for here in Corpus Christi. You can expect plenty of sunshine, wind today, and then that cool weather that could be considered more fall-like compared to what we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks at least. For the future tracker, going to show you all that sunshine that's on the way for our Wednesday, as well as when we're heading into our Thursday, going to see plenty of that sunshine, and even into our Friday as well, just going to be plenty of those clear skies. For the rain chances, they're only going to peak by the time we're heading into Saturday. We might see some isolated to scattered development make its return into the coastal bend. In terms of rain totals, though, still going to be very minimal at best and not put too much of a dent in that 11-inch deficit that we have so far for 2025, unfortunately. In terms of Hurricane Melissa, right now sitting at a Category 3 hurricane, making its way across Cuba, sustained winds at 115 miles an hour, going to continue its trek into the Atlantic, slowly weakening into a Category 2, then a Category 1 as it heads off towards Bermuda. For here in the coastal bend, the next 7 days looking nice and fall-like. The 80s return by the time we're heading into Friday and Saturday, with that slight rain chance making its return as well. Then the 70s as we head into next week. Overnight lows these next couple of days, nice and cool in the 40s before the 50s heading into the early November.
It's that time of year when outdoors the leaves change color and indoors respiratory viruses change the way we breathe. So when it comes to stocking up on medications, we're looking at what works, what's nice to have around the house, and some ways to save.
Days Pharmacy, this is Kevin. Can I help you?
At Day's Pharmacy, Kevin Day is busy being a good neighbor, helping customers with their coughs and sniffles.
He was very understanding about the medication that I wanted.
Day admits over-the-counter medicines can be expensive, with some 24-hour meds now $30. He says shorter duration, immediate release options can be less pricey.
From a price point, this is just so much more affordable. So we sell this, including tax, for less than $10. This is almost $30.
Day suggests generic versus brand name drugs, which can save 40% or more.
The generics have to be the same, so the same strength, same ingredient.
If you have an account, internist Dr. Paul Bradley suggests using your HSA or FSA to stock your medicine cabinet with essentials like acetaminophen, Mucinex, Benadryl, Pepto-Bismol, and saline nasal spray. He adds a COVID-19 testing kit could save you from having to leave the house.
You might not even have to go to the doctor's office. You might be able to just get a virtual visit.
And don't forget a thermometer.
They're super inexpensive now. Pick whichever one looks easiest to use.
If money is tight, he says skip supplements for your immune system.
The data is just not available. That doesn't mean it's bad, but that just means I can't tell you that, oh, this really helps.
Back at the pharmacy, Day suggests larger sizes, which cost more upfront but less per dose.
You definitely get more for your money.
We could be in for a long cold season.
What can we do for you?
But a local pharmacist can help find the best meds at the best price so you don't waste your money. John Mattery, Scripps News Group.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
President Trump continues his visit to Asia today with another full day planned. Trump heads to South Korea, which is hosting an Asian-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. The president is meeting with the South Korean president, where the two will discuss trade. Trump has already made several major business deals, including an agreement with Japan on mining and refining rare earth minerals. All eyes are on the president's scheduled meeting with China's leader Thursday to see whether a major trade deal can be reached.
Hurricane Melissa is continuing its destructive path through the Caribbean after making landfall in Jamaica. The record-breaking storm is forecasted to continue its destruction through the Caribbean today. The storm caused severe flooding and wind damage in Jamaica Tuesday when it hit the southwestern part of the island as a Category 5 hurricane. The storm brought sustained winds of 185 miles per hour, making it the strongest Atlantic hurricane to hit Jamaica since record-keeping began 174 years ago. Multiple deaths have already been reported, and governments are already focusing on recovery efforts.
Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a lawsuit against the makers of Tylenol. The lawsuit claims that the companies Johnson & Johnson and Kenvue deceptively marketed Tylenol to pregnant mothers, and that the medication is tied to an increased risk of autism. The lawsuit asks for a jury trial and calls for the companies to pay civil penalties to the state in the amount of $10,000. $10 per violation. Kenvue responded in a statement saying Tylenol is safe and the company will vigorously defend against these claims.
The demolition of the Old Harbor Bridge has been postponed a second time. TxDOT originally planned to demolish the bridge on Monday before they were forced to postpone it. Demo was postponed yesterday after TxDOT said crews need a full 10 hours of daylight to safely lower the center span of the bridge. TxDOT announced the center span will be lowered this Thursday, citing, quote, high winds associated with an approaching cold front, end quote.
The downtown electrical box murals are here to stay. That's according to Downtown Corpus Christi's Facebook page. Local officials met with TxDOT on Tuesday to confirm that electrical box murals are not included in this new mandate. The Safe Roads Initiative is a statewide mandate from Governor Abbott that orders Texas cities to eliminate non-standard markings on roadways. Crosswalks and other areas are still on the chopping block, though. But art on electrical boxes will be preserved.
The Timbergate Drive project on the city's south side is continuing, and drivers can expect more lane closures. Starting today, Timbergate Drive between South Staples and Snow Goose Road will be a one-way road going eastbound. Crews are working on the reconstruction of the road while also upgrading curbs, gutters, and sidewalks. The $4.73 million project is being funded by Bond 2022. It's expected to be complete by July of next year.
All right, on to what's trending, folks, and this one's pretty cool. Takes me back to my childhood. A newly found Dr. Seuss book will be published next year. Sing the 50 United States asks readers to learn and name all of the states, along with a cat in the hat and 2 little cat helpers. The manuscript was found earlier on this year over at the Geisel Library at UC San Diego. The book will include sketches from the original manuscript and a map of the U.S. under the book jacket. Random House Children's Books will publish it this summer with 500,000 copies. The publication will come just in time for America's 250th birthday.
Oh, so
what was your
cool.
favorite Dr. Seuss growing up?
Honestly, Green Eggs and Ham, because that was the first book I ever read, and I was so impressed with myself.
Oh, that's awesome. I've always been a fan of the Grinch, though. Grinch was always the Grinch. Yeah.
Or you got one fish, red fish, blue fish.
One fish, 2 fish, red fish.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I butchered that one.
Yes. So we gotta talk a little bit about the weather. Stephen, I am. It was a bit chilly this morning. Are we going to continue to see this type of cold front throughout the rest of the week, or are we going to warm back up?
Absolutely, yeah. Going to be even chillier these next couple of mornings. Luckily, the wind's probably going to be a little bit better than we saw this morning. If you're stepping out the door, you're going to be stepping out to 20, 25 mile an hour wind gusts. So very windy out there today. But yeah, fall-like is going to be around for the rest of the week, even into Halloween by Friday. Taking a current look out there, yeah, pretty chilly at 58 degrees. A live look at our USS Lexington Cam, brought to us by First Community Bank, with that wind out of the north-northwest right now, sitting at 13 miles an hour. But those gusts getting upwards of 20 to 25 miles an hour. Both harbor bridges in view, but you can see the Old Harbor Bridge will be missing from view as we go through about maybe 1 week from today, going to be out of view. Looking at yesterday, though, it was a record-breaking Tuesday at 97 degrees. The previous record was 92 degrees back from 1921. That record low 41 from 2008. We came in at 68 degrees, so we were well shy of that and going to remain shy of that. So luckily we won't be that chilly, but still going to remain fall-like as we go through these next couple of days. Looking at the past 10 hours, I should say, seeing a decent cool down. Those gusts last night out of the north, upwards of 30 miles an hour, even up to 32 miles an hour at times. But then that steady cool down from 82 degrees down to 58 now so far. So a very good spread of temperatures so far as we've gone through the past 10 hours. And those current temperatures in your neighborhood, more of those 50s as you work your way inland. 57 degrees there in Cotulla, 56 going to be the cool spot in Beeville this morning, 63 in Port Aransas, and then 64 over at the Naval Air Station. Going to be our warm spot this morning, but all of us definitely feeling the chill of that cold front now. The current dew points also much drier air in the wake of that cold front. All of us down into the 40s for dew points along the coast, even the 30s as you work your way into some of our inland communities. 33 there for that dew point in Beeville, so definitely feeling the dry air and going to continue to see that northerly flow as we go through the morning hours. So today we've got our dog walk forecast for Achilles. Here is our dog of the day, ready to go on his walk, of course, and going to enjoy some fall-like temperatures in the 60s this morning. 63 degrees degrees by 9 a.m., 68 by 11 a.m. As we're heading out to lunch, going to be entering those 70s once again, but also going to have that wind chill factor in effect with winds out of the north 15 to 20 miles an hour. So keep that in mind. And as we head into the afternoon, going to get even breezier. Looking at those forecast highs in your neighborhood, around that 70-degree mark along the coast, up towards Rockport and Port Aransas. Aransas Pass rounding us out at 69 degrees. 75 is my forecast high for us here in Corpus Christi, and those low to mid 70s as you work our way inland to some of the areas of the coastal bend. So not too bad. Going to be feeling nice and fall-like today with those wind gusts this evening and afternoon. Just going to be very gusty, upwards of 30 to 35 miles an hour. But that 7-day forecast, yes, by Halloween, still going to be holding on to fall-like, feels-like temperatures. This weekend, maybe a rain chance on the board, but really into early next week as well. Those 70s on the board and 50s as well. So definitely jacket weather, I would say, right?
What a fluctuation, too, from 40s to, what was that, 80s up there?
Yeah, 80s for a bit there, like by Friday to Saturday. So, yeah, a little bit of a roller coaster.
Wow.
Thank you so much for the heads up, Stephen. We appreciate it. And, folks, we appreciate you, too. Thank you for joining us on Chris 6 Sunrise. We hope to see you tomorrow morning as well.
Have a great rest of your week, folks. See you soon.